Fall is in the air, and that usually means it's time to rake up your leaves. Some people want to burn piles of leaves, but that can be dangerous and even deadly. And if you live in the city limits of Fayetteville, open air burning is against the law. We spoke with Captain Roger Sullivan of the Fayetteville Fire Department to get a better understanding of the open air burning laws.
Laws are is enforced by air quality, North Carolina air quality. And what their laws state basically is that if you provide leaf and yard debris pickup, you can't allow burning in your jurisdiction. So that's why you're not allowed to burn in the limits of City of Fayetteville limits. It creates a smoke nuisance for the atmosphere. And then, some people who have asthma or chronic emphysema or COPD patients, it's hard for them to breathe. Anytime you're burning, there's a possibility, especially if atmospheric conditions like windy conditions, fire could get away from you and possibly start a yard fire, and then of course burn your neighbor's yard and then maybe even their house or outbuildings or things like that. There are some exceptions to the open air burning. Basically what it says, if you're trying to stay warm or if you're cooking. Now there are some distances from the fire code that you have to meet, which are, if you're going to have like a chimney, you have to be 25 feet from a building or any structure or anything combustible. And then you have to have an available water source nearby, like a garden hose attached to a water faucet or a fire extinguisher. And then it has to be constantly attended, and then when it's nobody there, you have to put it out. It's got to be extinguished. And now we do have bonfires that are allowed, but you have to meet a distance of 50 feet. And then our office would have to do an inspection on that, fire marshal's office with the City of Fayetteville Fire Department. A bonfire is, like you would see at traditional football games. Before the football games, they would have a pep rally, but it's usually a larger type fire, bigger piles. There are some regulations for like campfires. Exceptions to that regulation would be you're trying to stay warm. But the fire code says you have to be 25 feet from any structure or anything combustible. And again, you have to have a water source, and it has to be constantly attended. And then when there's nobody there, it's got to be put out. The North Carolina Department of Environmental Health and Natural Resources, which air quality is a division of, that's who does the enforcement part. They can levy fines up to $10,000 on people who are burning illegal. Now there is some cases where you're allowed to burn for right-of-way clearing and for lot clearing. But there's distances you have to be from the structures of up to 1,000 feet. You would have to contact air quality for those requirements on open burning. Anytime we find somebody burning illegally, we usually, when we respond to them, we tell them to put the fire out. If we go back again, then we will refer it to the Division of Air Quality, and they would levy the fines. I can remember a couple of cases from open air burning where there was a contractor burning a pile of debris and left it burning, and we got there that night. It had already spread to the woods beyond from the wind blowing it out. But again, like I said, it has to be constantly attended, and even when you have the exceptions that you're doing the open burning for. During Halloween, people like to use the luminaries. I would just say, follow the manufacturer's instructions when you get those. A lot of them are bagged that are treated with a flame retardant chemical. I would strongly recommend using those type, and you can get those from the internet. The luminary bags, what people have to realize, you've got a candle in those, and when you leave them, I've seen them burn before with the wind blowing real bad. They'll catch the bags on fire, and then of course it might start the yard and then maybe onto the house. When you're finished with them, please extinguish them. Now they do make a flashlight type candle, runs on a battery. Those are the type that I like to see people use. For more information about open burning, just contact our office at Fayetteville Fire Department. You can go to our website also for more information. We'd like everybody to be safe this winter and use some common sense and try to be safe and try not to do any kind of open burning in the city limits of Fayetteville.